Good morning, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be a live trade video where I try to capture some of my trades as they play out live. Market opens up here in less than 1 minute. And I want to note these are live videos, so you're going to get my raw thoughts, my raw emotions as things play out here. It is, and the markets are now open. It is the day before Labor Day weekend, so Friday. And I bring that up just because it's looking like there's going to be some good opportunities out there, but I would not be surprised if things all of a sudden get really choppy. So right now watching KCAC, but that candle doesn't have much of a range to it, so I'm not quite sure what to make of that. But I am watching other things. But these are live in the sense of, like I said, I don't know what's going to happen. Let's see, what is the high of that candle? 22. All right, this is delayed. My charts, again, Lightspeed has really been having issues. I do like 23 as a potential breakout point if it can get up through there. So going to watch 23 very closely here. In at 23. Let's see if we can get some more follow through up through it. There we go. Can we get up through 23.10? Why is my thing jumping all around? All right, I'm just taking the $75. I'm not quite sure what's going on. Everything is delayed. And now, yeah, I realize that in hindsight here, I got out way too soon, but yeah, this is just throwing me off right now. Shoot. All right, well, I'll take the $75, but I would have liked to have still been holding, but hopefully you saw that I did. I'll have to go back and rewatch the recording, but things were just delayed. Things were acting goofy. So, oh well, let's see what's going on with DOCU. Oh, wow, quite a bit. Get that alerted to the chat room. All right, well, I'm up. I think things are getting stabilized here now as far as the platform. Wow, Tesla just quite the move. All right, well, we'll see what happens with it. I'm going to go ahead and pause. So watching Tesla right now, I mean, I understand Tesla's a beast, but look at this 5-minute chart. This is getting a little overdone. So I'm looking for some weakness here for a scalp to the downside. Whoops. Let's bring that back over there. First, I got to see some signs of weakness, though. Let's see, low of that is at 421. So want to see this go up some more. There we go. There we go. There we go. Excellent. Let's see, low of, yeah, 421. Now, I might be being left in the dust here, but if this wants to come back down to 421, I would be interested. Again, these are just it would just be a scalp. But this is quite crazy right now. Okay, coming down. Oh, wow. Well, that just happened way too fast. You might have to scroll back, but look over here at the level 2s, and you will notice they jumped so fast. So fast. That was crazy. All right, well, I had the right idea, but, I mean, I was just not even close to being fast enough. But if you go back and you'll even hotkeys, I get it. Well, why don't you use hotkeys? Well, even in that situation, hotkeys would not have made a difference. Airlines are all airlines. Polls 1 minute. There goes Boeing. I was just about to bring that up. Maybe a fake break. Oh no, this is a terrible range. Wow, Boeing really, volatility on Boeing. Well, DOCU continues to drop. Problem is there's no shares to short. So over here on my screen, notice how there's no green E. That means that there's nothing to short out there. So I mean, I couldn't take advantage of that even if I wanted to. All right, Tesla maybe giving another opportunity. Let's see. Yeah, okay. Let's see, right around 419-ish. Want to see it bounce up there, though, and then come back down. So let's see some green. Green, and then for it to come back down to 419. I like that. There we go. Okay. We got another setup here, assuming it can come back down. In fact, I'm going to get this alerted. Tesla 419. Flush point, 1 minute. Keep in mind the context, because the context is bullshit. I'll just show you my chat room over here just so you can see the thought process. So right there, 419 flush point, keep in mind the context. So I need to watch this very, very closely. Again, that assumes the price comes back down, but you got to wait for confirmation because maybe Tesla's going to do what it does right now and it's just beast moding up. So as of now, looking like never mind on that one. Oh, KACAC. Look at that. Now up over 24. Now, I'm not saying that I should still be holding. I'm not, but just a frustrating start there. All right, well, let's go back to Tesla, though, because Tesla seems to be, at least from what I'm seeing, the one that gives me the most. So, yeah, 424.50 now. I like that. As a potential area, just because, I mean, this move is so strong right now. So 424.50 just for a scalp. In at, all right, good. Got some in at 4. Let's see if we can get this down to 424. There we go. Took out 423.50. Let's see if we can get down through there. So took out another 25 down there. I still have 25 shares left. If we can get this down below 422, there we go. Wow, how did I? All right, there we go. So a nice $178 scalp right there. As I was saying from the very get-go, that was a scalp all the way along. And because why? Well, I told you why. I pointed out why. I told the community why. Keep in mind the context. Bullish context, so you gotta be aware of that. And, you know, it would not be shocking at all to see this thing turn around and rip back upwards. Maybe give another opportunity, but, you know, it's bouncing right now. So like I said, that was, you know, intended to, and I could care less. I mean, this thing, maybe that was the top. Maybe I like nailed the top and this thing just crashes. That was just not the trade plan. The trade plan was a very quick scalp because of that context. But congratulations to members. If you took that trade, well done. Had a nice opportunity. And even now, like I said, I don't care. Yeah, it's going down, but my trade plan was not looking for some sort of huge rollover. I was respecting the fact that it was very strong. So if it was willing to give me a few dollars, which it was, then I was able to turn that into, you know, $178. So not bad. The Friday before Labor Day weekend, not even 10 minutes in, 9 minutes in, and I'm already up $250. I'm not a greedy savage. I'm not sure many places in the world where you can make $250 in literally less than 10 minutes. Crazy stuff. I'm not going to be done yet, but like I said earlier, I think I mentioned that because it's going into Labor Day, I would not be shocked to see things all of a sudden slow down, get really choppy. See, now Tesla, I'm almost wondering at 420. Would that be a nice little entry point there if this thing wants to try to reverse around? So maybe, but all right, I'm going to go ahead and pause. Fantastic learning lesson here because the voice is in my head right now, and it's the wrong voice. The voice being that somehow I did something wrong. Because look at Tesla. It continues to fall. It continues to pull back. So, I mean, I got pretty close to nailing the top. So the voice saying, oh, Clay, wow, you messed that one up. No, I didn't. It's easy to say that I messed things up in hindsight, but at the time, the trade plan was a scalp because of the context, because it was very bullish. And I mean, I wish I could say that I knew how to do this every single time where you nail the top and then it rolls back over. But there are plenty of times where, I mean, this thing could have pulled back and then just continue on up with the trend. That wouldn't have been shocking, especially when it's Tesla. So yeah, again, right now the voices are trying to make me sound, make me think that I did something wrong on that trade, but I didn't. I did absolutely nothing wrong at all. I followed the plan to a T, but of course, and that's why trading's so difficult, because hindsight pops up and then hindsight tries to make you feel like you did something stupid. I didn't do anything stupid. I followed my trade plan. And, yeah, it's pulling back very much so now. So again, congratulations to any members that, might still be holding maybe. And that's why I always tell people, think for yourselves. The community is for those that, not a bunch of sheep. Notice I just gave a price area. I mentioned the 419 mark, and then people, I let people decide from that area. And no, that's not what I mentioned. Oh, yes. Well, I mentioned 419. Originally, that worked out well. I took it sooner just because, the chart changed around a little bit for me. But even at 419, like I said, those people, I don't know. If somebody took the 419 and they're still in, I mean, congratulations, but that's probably a little bit too much risk, because that was still quite bullish at that breakup here. It could have just, come down here for a few dollars and then worked its way back upwards. But again, that's up to people's strategies. That's up to people's risk tolerance. Maybe people, so for example, it's Friday right now. Maybe somebody's up like, I don't know, $1,500, $5,000, $10,000, and they're like, I'm gonna take a little bit more risk because I can afford it. I'm up on the week, so maybe they decided they wanted to hold longer, and now they're banking that much more. So I mean, there's always different situations, but for me personally, my plan was to scalp, and as I'm kind of stalling just so we can watch this thing continue to roll over. I mean, look at this. This thing's about to hit the lows of the day. So absolutely nailed the top. So the voices are strong, but I laugh because, listen, if you have voices too that try to make you feel like you did something wrong, even though you didn't, even though you followed your trade plan, don't listen to them. That's just hindsight for you. That's the human mind. All right, I will go ahead and pause, and I'm thinking about just wrapping it up. I mean, like I said, it's Labor Day on Monday. I think I'll put this video out on Monday anyways, just because, like I said, nothing will be going on. So it'll be nice to, I don't know. It seems like there's still other potential opportunity out there. I almost feel like I should take Tesla short underneath 402 here, but actually what I'm going to do is this. 399. I'm going to go long because I think there's going to be too many people feeling what I'm feeling right now, the urge to chase to the downside. So let me just double check. So 399, looking to go long. My premise here is there's a lot of people that have been watching this go down and down and down, and they're going to say, all right, fine, I'm just going to short. And then they're going to short. It's going to go back down. I'm going to try to buy some shorting orders, and then ideally it snaps back up. Those people start to cover, they start to freak out, and then I get a bounce in my favor. But that implies that this thing can get a little bit more overextended and get down to 399. So we'll do this. If this wants to play out, perfect. If not, I'll probably just wrap up the video here and call it a day and go and start my Labor Day early. But let's see if this wants to behave or not. So I'm going to get this documented here. TSLA 399-ish. Long side entry, looking for fake breakdown of support. 1 minute, 5 minute. So there. Oh wow, it's at 400, and I'm in. Okay, so let's see here. Let's see if this thing wants to bounce back up. What is going on? 4,000. Oh, not 4,000. I want 100 shares at 400. There we go. So let's see this thing snap back up. Wow, that happened so fast. Let's see if it wants to work its way back up to the 400 mark. 398s. Can it get up through the 398s? 399. Oh, come on. Wow, that fast went back down? Goodness. Well, that might have cost me there. Don't want to quite get out yet, but I've given this thing quite a bit of time to bounce here. And it's not quite bouncing yet. I mean, it is bouncing, but not to the extent that I thought it would. So there we are. Got out with another $121 there. Although I'm actually very, very curious now about that level at 397. But there we go. Got the, now in hindsight, I mean, that was a pretty crazy move. But there was the fake breakdown of that support. You can see that it's now bouncing back upwards for a nice little scalp there. I'm almost wondering, though, if this thing wants to roll back over. I don't know. I think I'm being a greedy savage. It's 9:50 a.m. on a Friday before Labor Day weekend, and I've made $375 in 20 minutes. Do I really need more? This is an internal battle. I feel like I'm just being a total greedy savage right now. Like, Clay, keep things in perspective. It doesn't really. Who knows? I feel like if I take another trade, it'll end up costing me, and I'll have the sweet irony of being, just being greedy. But yeah, I don't know. This is a terrible. This is such a terrible life choice. Like, what am I doing? It is Friday before Labor Day, so looking for a 3-day weekend. Why not just start my Labor Day weekend early? Because I just made $375 in 20 minutes. So where else? And I'm talking to myself right now, right? This is me. This is the raw thoughts, the emotions of how, just how the human mind can work. Because for some reason, I want more. I think some of it has to do with, so that way you can make an extra cool YouTube video. There's always a YouTube video voice there. But I also just need to realize, dude, Clay, $375 in 20 minutes on a Friday before Labor Day weekend. Why can't you be happy with that? Why can't you be happy with that? Because I love this setup right here. This is such a good setup. The greed, the battle is real. No, I'm wrapping things up. I am more than happy with that. And a little update here. Look at that. Totally rolled back over. But you know what? Another situation where I feel fine about it, because at some point you just got to listen to the voices in your head. You got to listen to your gut instincts. And this does come with experience. And I don't know about you, but I'll just speak for myself. But there's been too many times where I've been green, I've had a great morning, and then just do one more. Just do one more. And even if it's controlled, even if it's logical, I mean, you can just all of a sudden lose, and then you're like, well, crap. And then you can easily fall into a bunch of other temptations. So yes, in hindsight, I was right. That was a beautiful setup. But I'm glad that I just followed my my intuition and followed, the trade plan up front, which was, Clay, just be done. Be grateful for what you have. And as it continues to roll over, I get it. I can look stupid here, and maybe I am stupid. But like I said, from a mental standpoint of trading, this is what it's all about. And sometimes when you have hindsight in your favor, again, keep in mind what's going on. Maybe you're sitting there saying, this guy is terrible. But let me ask you something real quick before you click off the video. What happens if I had went through all of that? Clay, you got to be happy, $375 in 20 minutes. Okay, but just one more. And I took that trade. And then what happens if it had just skyrocketed upwards? What would you be saying? Clay, what are you doing? You should have listened to your voices, right? I mean, you would have been saying that. I would have been saying that. So, I mean, it's easy to sit here and be hard on yourself when it actually goes in your favor. But always keep in mind the other side of hindsight. Well, what happened if it had gone the other way? So just something to keep in mind there. Oh, very nice. Wow. Crushed it. All right. That is awesome. So just somebody just posted this in the chat room. So that alert that I made right there on Tesla, let's see. I'll just go through it right there in case you're hard to see. So they bought at, where did they buy at? Oh no, this is a great example. That's the exact opposite. They actually went short. So they sold the whole premise. So I gave the premise of a fake breakdown, but they're like, well, you know what? Even if it's a fake breakdown, I'm still going to play the fake breakdown. And they absolutely crushed it for $1,200. So that's what I mean by my community is for people. We help each other out. We throw out ideas. We throw out, areas, general concepts, this concept being a fake breakdown. But very clearly this member thought, and rightfully so, you know what? Even if it is a fake breakdown, it's still a breakdown. So let me just scalp a breakdown. And they got, as they said, it was so fast. And it was fast. I mean, you saw everything play out live there. So they just made $1,200 off that alert. But again, think about it. They did the exact opposite thing. They took my general premise, and then because they're not a sheep, because they know how to think for themselves, they actually molded it in their favor. And that is the power of education. That is the power of being able to think for yourself. Not the mentality of, hey, if I sign up for your service, are you going to tell me exactly what to do? I get it. That's an easy sales pitch, but that's just not how things work in the real world. You need to be able to think for yourself, and you should want to think for yourself. Think about it. I made money on that going from the long side. That person made money on it from the short side. So same exact ticker symbol, but same people, same members trading it. And I mean, that's crazy. So that is some great stuff right there. A good example. And again, because these are live, I didn't know that was going to happen, but a great talking point of the power of being able to think for yourself, being part of a community where, you don't have to agree with everybody, but you can take people's generals, concepts, general, idea, and then still mold it to your own personal risk tolerance and personal preference. And then I'll just end because hopefully at least a few people are saying, oh yeah, that all makes sense. I want to learn. I want to surround myself with other people that aren't sheep. Iron sharpens iron. So if that's your mentality, you're like, well, how does this community work? Where do I join? Well, you can go to claytrader.com/team. The way the pricing works, we'll use this model, $99, not per month, but per 3 months. So every 3 months, $99, that breaks down to $8.25 per week. So really the question just becomes, if I invest $99 to join, do I believe I can get at least $8.25 per week of value? And yeah, that member I just showed you, they just paid for like years upon years upon years with that one trade where they made the $1,200 in Tesla there. So, that's the way you got to approach it though. Do I believe the service can at least provide me with, at minimum, $8.25 per week? There is also an app, so it's not like you have to change your computer or anything like that. So yeah, if you're interested in joining the community, getting those alerts that you saw all play out here, then you can go and join that. Also, as far as this video is concerned, if you like these live trade videos, then please hit that like button. That's a very quick, efficient way to communicate that to me. And then also, comments, questions, suggestions. If you've ever watched my past videos, I read them and will reply to them. So check those out. And then finally, take a look at the entire channel. There's lots of other live trade videos, quick tip videos, a good variety of videos on the channel. So hopefully you decide to ultimately subscribe to the channel. But if, like I said, you want to join my community, trade alongside me, and just learn to think for yourself, not be a sheep, not be a puppet, then you will fit right in with the community. So just go to claytrader.com/team. Everybody, thank you for hanging out. And like I said, I guess I'll probably post this on Monday on Labor Day. So hopefully you are enjoying your Labor Day, and be safe, and I'll see everybody back on Tuesday. First off, thanks so much for watching the entire video. Real quick, before you go, I want to invite you to a live webinar, web class, training, workshop, online event, whatever you want to call it, but it will be me live revealing to you what I've discovered that has allowed me to transform myself from being an employee to being my own boss, including how I had only one losing day out of 73 days in total. I'm going to cover 3 keys that have helped me unlock profitable consistency within the markets. The first key is super weird, but in a productive type of way. The second key is super awesome because it quite literally is wired into our DNA as humans, making it very easy to use. But in a cruel way, this becomes a pitfall for many traders. I'll explain it all though, including how to avoid the pitfall that it creates for some. And yeah, the third key, when you hear it, sounds way too good to be true, but it's not, and I'll show you how it all works. Then at the end, I open it up for a question and answer session that is, again, totally live. Even if you can't make the live session, please still sign up as it will be recorded, and you can go back and watch the replay that I will send you. click the image on the screen or click the link down in the description box so you can get the date and time and claim your spot, which I should note is limited due to the fact that this truly is a live event. If you have any questions, let me know. If not, I'll be seeing you soon.